All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Louis-Riel School Division Board of Trustees for January 13th. As always, we begin with the land acknowledgement this evening read by Trustee Bjornson.
Louis-Riel School Division brings together a community of schools on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, Niniwak, and Dakota. Our division is located on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We recognize that Manitoba is also the traditional land of the Anishinaabe and the Dene. We respect the treaties made on this land and acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and present. We dedicate ourselves to authentic alliances with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and cooperation. We recognize and honor Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, the source of Winnipeg's life-sustaining drinking water, as well as the treaty territories that generate and provide the electricity that powers daily activity throughout the province.
Thank you very much. I would like to begin by welcoming folks that are joining us in the room this evening and online. As facilitator of the meeting, I have a role to play in ensuring that we move things along, also make sure that decorum is preserved at all times, and to ensure that any questions that you have at the end of our meeting when we have question period are answered to the best of our abilities, or else that you are invited for follow-up conversation if so applicable. You should know that we record our meetings audio just to ensure that our minutes are accurate, and unless you've asked permission in advance, no photographs or recordings are permitted. Our vision is for all members of our community to excel as caring, confident, capable, and resilient lifelong learners who contribute to a democratic and sustainable world. And our mission is to provide a safe, inclusive, and engaging environment where personal and collective learning are valued and each one of us reaches our full potential. Item 2 is approval of the agenda and the minutes. So I need a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Trustee Semenyola, seconder please. Trustee Kolachuk, all those in favor? Any opposed? And it's carried, thank you. Yep, no, the minutes of the regular meeting from December 16th have been circulated. I haven't been made aware that there's any errors or omissions. Oh, sorry, who are we waiting for?
Oh, sorry.
Trustee Palmquist.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, I haven't been advised that there's any edits or changes necessary. So the December 16 minutes will be approved and archived as they were distributed. News from the Board of Trustees to begin tonight by Trustee Sigurdsson.
Yes, thank you, and welcome back everyone to 2026, first meeting of the new year. Wonderful things are happening in our school division. My first two ones are actually from Dakota, but the first one was the Dakota Collegiate Musical Legally Blonde. It was a huge success, wonderful musical. I'm a big fan of the high school musicals, and I go to many as I can. But this one I chose to go to a little bit different. I went to the afternoon, the matinee performance with the students. So it was there with all their friends, not with the moms and dads. This was there with all the friends and classmates. So it was quite a raucous event, and it was a lot of fun. They really fed off the energy. And one great thing about the Dakota musicals is that they have so many people involved. There's 150, I believe, altogether. The stage is full many times, and all the people working behind the scenes and the costumes and the props. It's a real school effort, and it's great to see them enjoy themselves so much, and great to see me enjoy myself so much. The next one was the Solstice Evening, also at Dakota. And that was a Indigenous themed evening with jingle dances and performances. And it was again quite a moving experience. I like to go to that one every year. They do a great job, but it's also one that's a student-run and student-initiated event. They're the ones who put it on, so they again deserve a lot of credit. Trustee Bjornson and Assistant Superintendent Kapelik were there as well. It was a lovely evening. And then the next one was the Nelson McIntyre Collegiate. It was an announcement with our local MP, Jeanette Levesque, where there's a new garden space, an outdoor space that's already quite beautiful, but it's going to be even more beautiful, and it's going to be transformed into an outdoor learning environment. And the federal government is providing money for that to assist us in that transformation. I've looked at the plans, they're quite beautiful. It's going to be a really wonderful addition for the students as well as for the entire community. You'll be able to come there and use that area for inspiration and recreation. Again, Assistant Superintendent Template was there and made a very lovely speech. The final one is sort of a catch-all, but I've focused on the École Provencher winter concert because it was winter concert season. All the schools are having them. It's always a big, a fun thing for the kids to take part and to sing songs and dance and props and perform in front of their friends and family. École Provencher had their winter concert prepared and ready, and the kids were all eager, and they were going to go across to the DSF, the Centre Culturel, to perform, but that was the day of the blizzard of the decade, and the poor kids weren't able to get across. They had all their costumes and all the props and everything already, and it wasn't to be. But the good news is they did it last week, so they were able to keep it all together, and they put it on last week at the same venue, and it's a huge success. So because it shows the resiliency of the kids and resiliency of the communities to be able to put these things on. I wish I could have gone to more of these every year, but it's a wonderful tradition that we have in LRSD and all across the province. Those are the few of the things. There's a lot more good news than that, but those are the ones that I can talk about today.
Thank you very much. On the other side of the room, news from senior leadership team provided this evening by Assistant Superintendent Kadas.
Chair, it's my pleasure to bring news to the from the CJS and the Friends Families of Schools. Start with a story from École George McDowell, who proudly opened its skating rink this week. Students now have access to the rink during their JAG time in the morning and at recess, and many have even chosen to stay after school to enjoy the skating. The rink has truly been a community effort, as students are were directly involved in contributing to the preparation and continue to assist with snow clearing and ongoing maintenance. And the school is grateful for the support received from Councillor Marcus Chambers' office, which is reimbursing expenses related to creating and maintaining. This funding also allows for purchase of additional lights, skates, helmets, and ensuring that more students can participate safely and comfortably. So thank you to Councillor Chambers and his office. At Collège Jean Sauvé, a teacher there, Mix K. Wojnarski, recently challenged students to design transitional shelters for individuals experiencing homelessness. This project aimed to build empathy and social awareness while strengthening curricular skills within the design technology program. In partnership with End Homelessness Winnipeg, students researched the realities of homelessness, explored barriers faced by unhoused individuals, and developed practical supportive housing concepts. Through real world problem solving, they learned about dignity, safety, and community responsibility, contributing ideas that could inspire more compassionate approaches to housing insecurity. Students applied technology-based skills developed in class with a strong sense of purpose. The assignment was sparked by an earlier incident this year involving students and a person experiencing homelessness in the community, underscoring the need for deeper understanding. This initiative reflects how Collège Jean Sauvé students continue to engage with local community to support the needs and foster compassion and support. And finally, I have a story from Naaqua Place School. The school's library staff recently led an exciting initiative giving every classroom the chance to participate in a coding workshop presented by Wise Kinetic Energy from the University of Manitoba. Students worked collaboratively in the library to program robots to navigate through the maze. The workshops were a tremendous success. Students were highly engaged and enthusiastic about their learning. This experience has sparked a commitment to continue finding meaningful ways to integrate coding into the curriculum in the future at Naaqua Place School. And that's just a few of the stories from those two families of schools this evening.
That's great. I think we covered every part of the division between the two of you, so that's awesome. Thank you very much. Item 4 is finance and audit. I will turn to our Secretary Treasurer to provide information regarding our budget process.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I just wanted to make the public aware that we are having a public consultation meeting on Wednesday, January 21st. It's going to start at 6:30 p.m. We're offering it at the Norbury Board Office, or you can attend virtually. Communication and details regarding how to register will be posted on our website in the next day or two. I just want to give notification for that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, folks, on that one? All right, thank you. Chair information to the board. There's a couple of items here. The first one is that, oh, did I miss that? I blistered right by it. I'm sorry. Item 5, staffing. It's a new vice principal too. Through the chair to assist, through the chair. Just got demoted. Through the superintendent to assistant superintendent. You got it there.
Thank you. So yes, at Samuel Berlin School, the vice principal gave notice to retire at the end of June 2026, which created a vacancy for next school year. The position was posted and a number of candidates were interviewed. And so following that process, we are recommending that Shauna Keys be appointed as vice principal of Samuel Berlin.
Thank you. So the recommendation then is that Shauna Keys be appointed as vice principal at Samuel Berlin School effective August 1st, 2026. Mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Kolachuk, second. Trustee Turner. Any questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? And the motion is carried. Thank you. I'm not sure if Shauna is on the line, but certainly we extend congratulations and wish them great success in this new role. Now, chair information to the board. So the first one, Manitoba School Boards Association 62nd Annual Convention will take place next month. Trustees can anticipate information related to program for the 2 days to come to you within the next little while. There is some in the link that's attached. Of particular note is that we have switched, MSBA has changed. Business day is day 1 and our professional development sessions are on day 2 this year. Looking forward to welcoming and hearing from both David Robertson, local author, and also Nigon Sinclair, who is a teacher and a writer, and as they both join us for that event. So that would be a use of your professional development money if you're so inclined to attend. And like I said, more information forthcoming. Item 6.2 is a notice of motion that has been brought forward. This was brought forward by Trustee Walker and is being seconded by Trustee Bjornson. And it will come to the board at our next meeting for on January 22nd for discussion and voting. I'm going to read out the motion right now, as is our process. There will be no discussion. This is to provide notice as the notice of motion is intended to do. Whereas the current placement of public question period at the end of board meetings limits stakeholders' ability to ask questions or express concerns prior to the board's consideration of decision items. And whereas meaningful public participation requires that agenda items be presented with sufficient context and detail so the public can prepare informed questions. And whereas the board is committed to transparency, accountability, and accessible governance practices, therefore be it resolved that Section 1 of the procedural bylaw, public question period, and Section F, agenda, be amended to include the following provisions. Number 1, timing of public question period. 1.1, primary question period. Public question period shall occur prior to the board's consideration of decision items and shall follow presentations and delegations on the agenda. 1.2, secondary question period. A second public question period shall occur at the end of the meeting to allow stakeholders to ask questions arising from the discussion of agenda items. Number 2, purpose and scope. Questions posed during the public question period shall be limited to items appearing on that meeting's agenda and seeking clarification or information relevant to those items. Public question period shall not be used for debate, commentary, or matters not appearing on the agenda. 3, agenda transparency requirements. 3.1, detail and clarity of agenda items. All agenda items released to the public prior to board meetings shall include sufficient relevant detail to allow stakeholders to understand the nature and purpose of each item. 3.2, the purpose of detail requirement. This detail shall be provided to ensure the public can attend meetings informed and prepared to ask questions during public question period. 3.3, applicability. This requirement applies to all sections of the published agenda, including decision items, informational items, reports, and any accompanying summaries or descriptions. Number 4, implementation. This amendment shall take effect at the next regular meeting of the board and shall be reflected in all published agendas, procedures, and its supporting documentation thereafter. The second item here is also a notice of motion. This one has been brought forward by trustee Bjornson being seconded by trustee Walker. Again, it will come to the board for debate, discussion, and vote at our next meeting on our regular meeting on January 27th. Whereas the expectation is that trustees are to prioritize and accept responsibility to attend all regular and special meetings of the board, and the legislation currently provides for punitive measures for consecutive absences. And whereas trustees' participation and attendance is critical to make informed decisions on behalf of the electorate, and they are compensated for their service. And whereas the board is committed to transparency, accountability, and accessible governance practices, therefore be it resolved that Section 2 of the procedural bylaw, Board Code of Conduct, Guidelines, subsection A, expectations, item 6 be amended as follows, Number 6, prioritize and accept responsibility to attend all regular special meetings of the board and those committees on which they serve. And if unable to do so, advise the designated individuals of their pending absence. Should a trustee miss more than 3 regular and/or special meetings over a calendar year, unless for trustee-related responsibilities or medical or family emergencies, the trustee's stipend will be reduced by $500 for each unexcused absence. Item number 7 is senior leadership team information to the board, and I will turn that to the superintendent.
You have a report on capital projects, an updated report for our public. The Secretary Treasurer can put it up on the screen. So you see there listed all of the work completed, development and ongoing, and the updates in red from the last report. A long list of work occurring. Any questions?
Trustees, any questions on this? Trustee Bjornson.
Last time we saw a report like this, I'd asked if there were some that had been scheduled maintenance and if there were some that were emergency and how that would impact the budget. Was there any way of indicating which were emergency that had not been scheduled maintenance? That were addressed that weren't scheduled?
To my knowledge, emergent expenditures were related to security and safety discussed.
Thank you.
Trustee Blomquist.
Thank you. That was my follow-up question as well. Acknowledging that we have also a security ongoing agenda items related to security and safety. Do they appear anywhere in here, or are they within the scope of this report?
Yeah, they're separate from this report.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Any other questions on the capital projects update? Trustee Turner?
I'm just wondering why summer in red?
Just it is signaling to you what has changed since the last report.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, item 7.2, annual school building dashboard.
Well, in an ideal world, better than a board receiving PDFs every month. We are working to improve the building review dashboard on the website. So what you're seeing here is a website in progress that we're building, or that is essentially built, but is going to require a final review before we make it public. But felt it important that trustees know that this will replace the building review dashboard that is essentially a PDF that's made to look made to work on a website. This is meant to be more interactive, easy to navigate for the general public, and eventually all of these updates that you're seeing on a monthly basis make their way with these dashboards on the website. So you can anticipate seeing this go live in the coming days. And hopefully you approve and agree that it's an improvement on what is on the website at present.
Trustee Walker?
Much easier to navigate. I like being able to access the schools on the left. That's what's going on.
Thank you. Trustee Bjornson?
Just looking at some of them where you see the capacity versus the enrollment. I just forgot, look at Archwood and Darwin, for example. I also noticed there's no childcare in those schools where they would appear to have capacity. Have we had conversations with the province about possibly using some of those spaces for?
Always. And it also speaks to but it also speaks to how the little capacity we have in some schools is essential to us navigating the overcrowding we're experiencing in other schools and are projecting experiencing.
Any other questions from anyone? All right, that takes us to 7.3, which is the swimming counts program report. I will turn that one to Secretary Treasurer Nikki, please.
Thank you very much. So on the request from the board, there was a request to have a report that summarized the first year of the pilot program for the swimming program. And so essentially the program is presented.
Okay, so we do have a recommendation in front of us that the board receive the swimming counts report program as information. So if I could get a mover and a seconder, and then I'll open it up for questions. Trustee Palmquist, second. Trustee Semenyola, thank you. Questions on the item or on the motion?
With respect to the motion, I will move that the report received as information so far as this is received as a report on the outcome of the pilot project, and with the expectation there's a further report in the future with recommendations, budget for a future continuation of the program.
There was in the report, I believe, a conclusion.
Yep.
On the bottom of the
Yep, it says without increased access to facilities, lifeguards and substitutes, scaling the program beyond the pilot schools will require significant planning, resource allocation and phased implementation.
Yep.
And I appreciate that recommendation. Ergo, a possible recommendation going forward into our upcoming budget year would be a budget to continue the program at the 6 schools that were in the pilot, especially considering the report outlines that logistical transportation challenges were one of the biggest issues encountered during the over the course of the program, and would have been heavily influenced by the closure of Bonnie Patel Pool, which is now back open, which was not during the entire length of the program. I expect it to have some significant benefits in terms of transportation and logistics into the program. So my interpretation of this report, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the administration is recommending not to expand the pilot beyond these 6 schools, but it would not be in my interpretation that there is not room to continue this program at the 6 schools that undertook it. Would I be correct?
I know, I think we're saying we could we could consider expansion. But we're outlining in we're delineating in this report the challenges that would have to be addressed.
So would I be correct in thinking that there is another report coming outlining, I would note, while I've gotten into the particulars of this, I haven't had a chance to say thank you for this report and everyone who executed this program. I would note of the $100,000 that was budgeted in 2025, the program ultimately came in at less than a third of the budgeted cost, which is an incredible outcome. So yeah, what I'd be looking for is a budget allocation for consideration in the upcoming 2026 LRSD budget.
Through the, sorry, if I may,
Okay,
through the
yeah.
board's deliberations, as it relates to budget next year, the budget for 2026-27, your administration will implement the budget that's adopted.
Any other questions, trustee Semanyola and then trustee Nordheim, sorry?
No, thanks for the report. I know this is something that we were waiting for to see how this initiative was carried out and received by the public. It was good obviously to see the response to the students, but also response to the teachers and the supervisors. We're looking forward to hearing suggestions to counter these challenges. Obviously the transportation one maybe can be encountered, but we have some EA ones here as well, as we serve the community with this program.
So
Oh, just a second, trustee Nordheim and then trustee Palmquist.
I just would like to plant the seed, and again, completely dependent on our joint budget discussions. But if the possibility of offering or combining a positive swimming counts program with Aspire increases the number of pools that are available in the summer, and number of lifeguards and instructors because of students looking for summer jobs. And it might also meet our objective of reaching many of our newcomers and kids who can't afford the swimming lessons. So it's a seed that we might want to consider as a combination as we discuss. So.
Thank you, trustee Palmquist.
yeah, I want to thank trustee Nordheim for that suggestion. I know they brought that forward before. I don't really have an opinion either way, aside from to say that, I'm sure that idea has merits. And wouldn't oppose it. But for clarity, I am pleased to see that the program went well. I'm pleased to see that it came in substantially under budget. And correctly anticipated some of the challenges with the execution of it, namely access to facilities and staffing. With the reopening of our regional facility in the area, anticipate that that'll be substantially improved next year. And then in terms of substitute coverage, it suggests potentially that out of the $100,000 budgeted, of the $68,000 unspent in the program, there could potentially be room within what was allocated in order to address staffing concerns there. Either way, I think this is great. Very happy. The outcome, the feedback was fantastic, both anecdotally and within this report. And thank you to everyone involved with it. Now for final clarification, is there a further report coming? Or with any recommended
I think
next steps, or is
what I'm
this?
saying
is
is
it-
that as you deliberate the 26-27 budget, your decisions related to what will be included in that budget will help determine a plan related to a second iteration of a swimming program.
That's great. What I wanted to I guess narrow down is if as a part of that budget deliberation, I were to say, suggest that this board put an arbitrary amount of funds in the budget towards the continuation of this program, would those funds be scaled accordingly? Or if we're, for example, the 2026 budget were to include another 100 as what was budgeted last year, which turned out to be substantially more than was needed for the program, what would that then entail or mean?
Yeah. So if trustees decide they want to budget for this program, increase its scope, then we will implement a plan. And to your point, the one reason we had to scale back the pilot was the availability of pools. Because this is a program that depends on other staff, other agents to implement. The caveat will always be availability of resources, of pools and staff that are trained to instruct. And back to the observation that one of the challenges was also substitute staff. That's a challenge across all the offerings in LRSD. The challenge of the staffing challenge, the substitute staffing challenge, again, will continue to impact this program as it impacts classrooms and educational assistant supports in schools. Okay. But in answer to your question, we expect that that this will be a part of budget deliberations and decisions, and we will, as a senior leadership team, respond and support.
Okay. All right, well, thank you once again in closing to all concerned and everyone involved in executing this great program, not least our superintendent, and thanks again to the board for their support.
Any other questions? Trustee Sigurdsson.
Yeah, just a comment that I'm pleased with it, and I think it's a positive thing, and I'm pleased by the low cost. I know we're very concerned about budget implications. And, when it does come up for budget discussion, I will be in favor and recommending it stays the same or is increased and moves forward.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Is that screen wonky or is it me? Okay, thank goodness.
Here we go. It's coming now. Oh, there it goes.
There we go. And the motion is carried. Thank you. Item 8 is policy, and there is a ratification of an amendment, and I will turn Superintendent to Assistant Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you. There are two policies before you for consideration this evening. The first is policy ACE, commitment to accessibility. This policy is the school division's formal expression of commitment to its obligations under the Accessibility for Manitobans Act. The policy before you this evening contains more explicit references to the supporting administrative protocols. So added to the policy are direct links to a new administrative protocol that is presented to you for information this evening, the Customer Service Standard Administrative Protocol, and in addition to pre-existing protocols related to the use of assistive devices, use of support persons, and use of service animals. Recently, the board also received as information the Employment Accessibilities Practices Administrative Protocol. That is the first policy coming before you. The second is policy JK, which is the Supporting Student Behavior Policy. In June of this year, the Department of Education published a new policy directive related to school codes of conduct. Under this directive, school divisions were required to revise policies related to code of conduct. And on November 18th, you adopted revisions to policy ADD, school codes of conduct. There are a number of related changes that need to be made to our supporting student behavior policy. And this is to ensure that our policy aligns with current provincial direction. All of the changes have been highlighted for you. I would indicate that among the changes are references added to several recent provincial publications, and also just some editorial corrections that were made. In addition, the policy now outlines the division's process related to expulsions, which the school board has not engaged in some time, but by provincial directive is required to have policy regarding. And the other addition is related to our managed move process. That is our student services initiated school placement process. So all of those changes have been highlighted for you. In addition to the changes in the policy, there is a supporting document that has been updated. And I must thank the committee that supported this work. It included our clinical supervisors, Lisa Timchuk, Alex Panuta, and Amber Zederick, as well as school principals, Shauna Archer and Chada Srivastava, and divisional principal, Megan Van Ponet, and director of school and classroom support, Nicholas Kelly. The updated document was made quite more presentable by our communications department. So thank you to Lee Seller for that. The document, again, ensures that our practices align with current provincial directive. I would say there's not a significant departure from existing practice, that our practices in LRSD were already very well aligned with the direction the province is endorsing Province 5.
Okay, thank you very much. So the recommendation then is that the following list of policies be amended. Policy ACE, commitment to accessibility and the support and its supporting protocol, and also policy JK, supporting student behaviors, and the supporting document as attached. I need to move in a seconder, please. Trustee Turner, and seconded by Trustee Bjornson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? And the motion is carried, thank you. Hard time and sending you Easter pounds, but looking away, okay. Thank you. The next item is correspondence. Trustees will have seen information coming from ECO, also from the Ed Funding Branch. There is school board correspondence that we have sent out, and then some information from the Manitoba School Boards Association. Please take a look at the e-bulletin, and oh, there you go. Convention program and registration for convention is now included. So please engage with that and advise Denise accordingly if you're interested in attending. Item number 10, action items. We have one item today. This came to the board as a notice of motion last meeting. It was moved and seconded. We have a recommended, or we have a suggested amendment to the motion. So I'm going to read, I think you're going to see it on the screen. The amendment is underlined. And so I will read that amended motion. We will vote on the amendment, and then we will vote on the motion. So the motion to be amended as follows. notwithstanding any other provision of the Code of Conduct or the board's procedural bylaw respecting confidentiality, a trustee shall not be prohibited from disclosing or discussing the fact that they have been the subject of a complaint, investigation, finding, or sanction under this Code of Conduct, nor the nature of any sanction imposed upon them, provided that such disclosure is limited to information pertaining to themselves, and provided the disclosure or discussion does not breach the Code of Conduct or the board's procedural bylaw. For greater certainty, a trustee shall not disclose confidential information relating to other trustees, complainants, witnesses, in-camera deliberations, legal advice, or personal information protected by law. I need a mover and a seconder for the amendment. Trustee Palmquist, second. Trustee Simoniola. So we're voting on the amendment now. All those in favor? Sorry. Okay, try again. All those in favor? Any opposed? Trustee Kolchak, Trustee Walker. Okay, and the motion is carried, and I'm going to look over to Assistant Superintendent Anderson. So we are now going to vote on the motion as amended. Do we need a new mover and seconder? So the original ones that brought the motion forward stand. And that was who was that? Palmquist and I forget who the seconder was. Sorry. Simoniola. Okay.
Sorry, I think Trustee Simoniola just seconded the, but not the whole motion. We need.
No, the original one was Trustee Palmquist and Trustee Walker. I'm sorry. Okay. So voting on the motion as amended now, all those in favor? Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, discussion on the. Any discussion? All right, Trustee Sigurdsson.
I'll just say that I'm in favor of it. I think it's a positive move, positive thing. And we've had that, the way this worded currently potentially puts trustees in a very difficult situation. And this gives them a chance to explain and to be honest. We've had people who have been sanctioned for something and the public would perhaps hear that and think the worst. And this is a way of avoiding that situation should the trustee choose to do so.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all those,
No.
oh, sorry, Trustee Simoniola.
No, just from like an application standpoint, I guess, maybe this is just for education. So this is for anything that happens now going forward, or does this cover what happened in the past?
No, this takes effect today. It's not retroactive.
So we're clear on.
Yeah.
What that
Will not
means.
be retroactive.
Thank you.
Trustee Kolchak.
I have a question for clarification. So this isn't a change to the code of conduct. This is not a change to the bylaws. So so just to be clear that in the bylaws and the code of conduct, it states that any conversations that happen in camera need to remain confidential, and that would override this motion. Based in the legal that I'm reading right here.
It probably suggests then an update to both of those.
No, based on how the motion is read, sorry, from my understanding, there is no change to the code of conduct or the bylaws, because that's not what the motion asks. The motion is a motion. It just says, notwithstanding any other provision of the code of conduct or the board's procedural bylaws respecting confidentiality.
I believe, and I'm gonna look to Assistant Superintendent Anderson. Actually, maybe I should ask you to weigh in on that first. I believe that the motion is in addition to, so it is laying out, the code of conduct still stands. This is a separate provision that outlines a particular piece of the code of conduct related to discussing the nature of a sanction, but it also reinforces that and by the wording that's there, what specifically cannot be spoken to as a way to reinforce.
Right, but the trustee code of conduct and the Public Schools Act overrides any motion, and it states that any conversations that happen in camera are confidential.
Yes.
So if there is a conversation in regards to the
sanction.
the sanction that happens in camera, it cannot be discussed outside of the camera. If the discussion happens in a public meeting, then yes, it can be discussed. But anything that's discussed in confidentiality remains in confidentiality.
And the intent behind this motion, supported by inquiry with our legal counsel, is that this provides the opportunity for the trustee to speak specifically to the nature of the motion. Because
So I read this differently
okay,
based on the legal advice or the legal.
okay, so I have trustee Palmquist, trustee Turner, and then I'm gonna come back to trustee or Assistant Superintendent Anderson.
I would agree with what you were saying, trustee Nemeth, your interpretation of it, and sort of briefly expanding on that the code of conduct is not quite so prescriptive when it comes to the nature of the conversations that can and can't happen. What this provides for is a board certified best practice and set of practices that can be cited when and if and when it becomes necessary. The code of conduct does not the code of conduct prohibits discussion in general terms, but the making a statement pertaining to one's own self about what about one own self, in my interpretation, is not a violation of what the code of conduct, and definitely not the Public Schools Act, says. And further to that, it would push any future board that were to act on any of these items in the direction of issuing some kind of statement that provided for a greater level of detail as that had been previously provided in instances like this as a part of any public statement around a sanction. As a matter of best practice, in order to keep that board and all of its members in line. That would be my desire of the impact of this, of one of the impacts of this. But my interpretation is that this is not undermine the code of conduct.
Trustee Turner?
The sanction is voted on in public.
Correct.
Then it's not in camera no longer. What's discussed in camera has to stay in camera, but the sanction itself is voted on in public. So you sanction me, as an example, I get sanctioned. It comes to we discuss it in camera, we bring it to the public. It's brought in, we're voted on at the public meeting. And then someone says to me, what were you sanctioned for? I can say, because it's in the public now.
We don't normally say what you're sanctioned for in public. We just say that you've breached the code.
But this is allowing that to happen now.
That's
This
correct.
is
Hands,
allowing.
Hands, folks. Okay. Yeah,
Am I misunderstanding?
no, you're correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to turn to our policy expert. Was there anything that you would add to that? Otherwise, I'll call the question.
No, I would caution, however, that the last paragraph of the motion that states the trustee shall not disclose confidential information related to other trustees, complainants, witnesses, in-camera deliberations, legal advice, or personal information protected by law. That limits significantly what the trustee can speak about, and it will be the trustee will have to be very aware of these specific provisions and plan their communication very carefully so as to not put themselves on the wrong side of this.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. Anything else on this?
Yeah,
Trustee
that's
Sigurdsson?
Good point. We're hoping this never has to be used, one thing. But by making this statement, by passing this motion, we are perhaps warning or putting on notice future board members or however you want to frame it, from bringing frivolous or vexatious motions and accusations of the code of conduct, because they will know that it could be made public. Whereas now, someone can make such a accusation, cobble together, not even a majority of the board, the way that the voting rules. That's another issue that I want to put a motion to change the voting rules, but that's not for today. And can, with the knowledge that it will never be disclosed why. Now, if someone brings forward such a motion, such an accusation, they will be aware that it likely will be found out. Yeah. So that's a very positive statement that we're making here with this.
Any other comments? Oh, yes.
I would just draw trustees' attention to the Board Code of Conduct Policy BC. And in the policy, there are provisions in the procedures section, C, if the board or ad hoc committee is of the opinion that the breach is out of time, trivial, frivolous, vexatious, or not made in good faith, or that there are no grounds or insufficient grounds for an inquiry, an inquiry shall not be conducted, and this shall be recorded in the minutes of the next meeting. So there are provisions that exist already for frivolous or vexatious complaints to be dismissed.
Anything else?
I'll leave that as it is.
I'm sorry?
I'll leave that as it is, but I have a different interpretation. That way.
So seeing nothing further, all those in favor?
This one's
Oh,
not electronic.
no, try-
Oh, not electronic? Okay, so show of hands, please. All those in favor? Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, the motion is carried. Thank you. We are at the end of the agenda and have arrived at the time when we will entertain questions from our guests. Have any questions of anything on the agenda?
Yes, I actually got a few, but I will apologize if I'm not politically correct when I speak. Not always.
Would you mind introducing yourself to the group?
Yeah, I'm Don Reedman.
Okay.
I live in the area. One of the questions I have is, when I was looking, I don't know if I can talk about this because I'm not sure. Like, I know you said there's only certain times you can, but I was looking at the financials on PACE, or, the principals, all that stuff all the way down. But I didn't notice anyone there on the 3 years I was looking at are educational systems. Like, it has all your staff, but it doesn't even say any of their names.
You were looking at the compensation disclosure?
Yes.
On the website, is
Yes.
because there's a threshold, so it only lists salaries of folks that make more than a certain amount.
Okay, thank you. That was a clarification.
Yep.
Somebody told me there's something called a divisional principal.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Sure, I'll turn to the superintendent to offer that. Rudy?
Yeah, there are two divisional principals. Essentially, they are school principals that come into board office to help support the work. One of the divisional principals is responsible for a team of teachers that offer instructional supports in classrooms and Indigenous education support in classrooms. And the other divisional principal helps support the clinical team, the clinicians that work to support staff and students.
Okay, thank you. I was just never heard that before.
They're becoming more and more common in school divisions, so.
Now, again, like I said, I'm not 100% sure how to do this, but teachers have a contract, they got a raise,
Yep.
et cetera. Board, admin people on the board I see have a very good progressive raises. But the educational systems don't have a contract and haven't had a raise in quite some time. So my question is, do you guys vote on who gets the raise, and like if the teachers get a raise, you guys vote on that?
so right now, the provincial, the teacher contract is settled provincially.
Okay,
And so we don't vote on that. That is a decision that is made in partnership between the employee group, MTS, and the employer group, which is the Manitoba School Boards Association. That's a change as of last year.
okay,
In terms of the EAs, those contracts are being negotiated as we speak.
okay.
And we would expect that to be settled very, very soon. It's been ongoing, longer, of course, than we would like it to take. But then those will come to the board for ratification, that contract.
And I do, on the pool thing you guys were talking about, I like that. I think that's a great, great thing to do.
Okay.
So, like it was said, you had 100,000 given for that and you only used 30
31.
some.
Yeah.
So what happens to that 60? Does it go back in the pool
It does.
and then?
And not
use
the,
it
not
where
the
it's
swimming
needed?
pool, not the swimming
No,
pool.
no, I get that.
The budget pool.
Okay.
So that, so at the end of, so we budgeted for $100,000. The report indicates we used about a third of that.
Yep.
That $60,000 is unused, added back to our additional money.
Okay, so I also read there was a deficit.
Yes.
So on that, I try to understand, doesn't matter who it is, whether it's a teacher, a min, you're in a deficit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you can give some people raises in it. I disagree with that. I mean, you're already in a deficit. Giving people more money is not gonna help that out. So I'm trying to get it where you can go giving people money in a deficit.
Yep.
But you have a contract that hasn't been discussed in 2 years and it's still sitting in the same spot, but they don't get money. Like I said,
Well,
it doesn't make any sense to me to have a budget and your budget say is 200,000 and you're already over it by 50,000, why you would go another 50,000 over that?
And that is the conversation that the board will have as we develop the budget for the next year.
Okay,
So-
so does that mean there are gonna be cuts in the budget?
I don't know.
Reduce?
I don't know, but what I am going to do on behalf of the board is strongly encourage and invite you to attend our budget consultation meeting, which is next Wednesday, which is the 21st of January
it's here?
at 6:30. No, it's at our other board office on St. Mary's Road.
That's where I went today.
Oh, sorry, 900 St. Mary's.
I'm looking, I'm going,
Yeah.
man, this isn't right. There's no one here.
And so what we are going to do is offer a little bit more context to the situation, the financial situation that we find ourselves in. And then we are going to invite our community to weigh in on things that they feel the board needs to consider when they develop the budget for 2026-27. And I think you will find, for one thing, you're gonna find all sorts more questions that you wanna ask because you're on point with what it is that you've brought tonight. But I think it'll even give you a better understanding of what some of the pressures are and what some of the costs are of a public education system.
And I get concerned like about the pool thing for a
Yeah.
great example, right? It's something you just brought in all of a sudden. Well, we're over, well, we gotta reduce that, or we gotta do, it's just, like I said, I have a hard time with people getting pay raises.
Yeah.
I was in the military for many years. I went 10 years without a pay raise. Right, so.
Yep, and
I know what
that's,
that's like, and when politicians unfortunately getting pay raises when you're in there going, that's not really fair. So,
and that's why we value your voice. So I hope we all see you next Wednesday,
yes, I will be at no, not.
6:30.
Over at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thursday. Next year.
Wednesday, yeah. Any other questions? Scott or the other gentleman?
Did you have any questions?
No? All right, questions from anybody? Questions online?
No, we're good.
No questions online. All right. The board has to go back in camera for a couple of items. So let's take a 5-minute break and we'll adjourn. And thank you for joining us.